Hello and welcome to day 40 of 40 Days of Habit. We made it! We got there! Today is the last day of our 40 Days of Habit. And unsurprisingly, today's theme is celebrate. Now, there's an interesting study around human beings and our experiences, so whether we have positive or negative experiences, and it suggests that as human beings we have 3 times more positive experiences than negative ones, but it doesn't always feel that way because what we tend to do is we dwell on the negative, and so that becomes bigger in our memories and our minds. And so to counter that, what I always suggest to people is actively practice the art of celebrating success. So, make a big deal about what you achieve. Notice the things that you achieve, notice the highlights, celebrate those things, because quite often what we tend to do is we have a bit of a natural negativity bias, so we give more thought towards the things that go wrong, and we don't give as much thought to the things that go well. So celebrating is a great way of countering that. So what are you celebrating at the end of your 40 days? For me, I am celebrating, I've made a note here, I'm celebrating on average, I worked out, that I have increased my average amount of sleep by 26 minutes a day, which equates to, over 40 days, equates to 17 hours and 20 minutes. I have had 17 hours and 20 minutes more sleep over the last 40 days in total. 30 out of those 40 days, I got to bed before 11, which is incredible considering 11 used to be, for me, an early bedtime. So to get to bed before 11 for 30 out of those 40 days is pretty big. It's a pretty big deal for me. And also it's normalised a 10 o'clock bedtime. I now see 10 o'clock as a normal bedtime. Anything later, like 11 o'clock, becomes a late bedtime for me. There have been days when I've woken up rested and also woken up naturally before the alarm, which has been great. I've also noticed I'm more resilient in recovering from a few days where I've had insomnia, a few nights where I've had insomnia, not been able to get to sleep, and also a few days when I've had to have super early starts for various reasons, that actually I've managed to ride those bad nights' sleep out with a little bit more resilience and recovered a bit quicker from those as well. And side effects, I've not been ill in those 40 days, so I've not had colds, I've not had a cough. I'm going to credit that to having more sleep. It's helped to boost my immunity and boost my health as well. And I've also lost half a stone in weight. So I'm also going to credit that to getting more sleep as well. So those are the things I'm celebrating. What are you celebrating? I've asked a few of you over the course of the week, and some of you have commented on various videos as well. So let's have a look. Kim has been celebrating. She is celebrating freedom from caffeine and the realisation that she needs vitamins rather than a coffee to give her a boost. So she's celebrating that. I know Faith is celebrating, she was cutting out sugar and she's actually still not having sugar in her tea and her coffee, so she's made that switch as well. Barbara, I said, surprisingly, I've created my new habit, even though I've had an ankle up and been unable to walk. My son fell down the stairs and broke his elbow. So even though life has sent me some lovely obstacles, I still read for 15 minutes most mornings and now automatically switch the light on and reach for my book when that alarm sounds. So again, another habit formed, even though life has been throwing her curveballs. So that's incredible, brilliant, fantastic achievement to all of you there. Wendy as well is, she said, I'll be celebrating today actually with a lion to get my averages up. So, but she also, I know, commented earlier on in the week saying, actually, I've noticed that although my weekly average of sleep has not gone up, this is because I get more sleep during the week and don't need to top up as much in the weekends. I quite effortlessly get up earlier at the weekend. This means that my weekends seem much longer. I can fit more in, still keeping that lazy and relaxed vibe, and I feel much better on weekday mornings and have been known to wake in advance of my alarm. I'm also dreaming more, which helps my creativity, and actually that was one of Wendy's motivations. Wendy is a writer, so the big thing about getting more sleep for her was about boosting her creativity and helping her with her writing. She also says it's not ending with the 40 days. I want to get my weekly average up to between 7 and 8 hours. This week it was 6 hours and 11 minutes on average. And she said, actually having more energy benefits my whole life, my health, my work and my relationships. So that's, it's incredible, isn't it? How much a habit can impact the whole of our lives. And I think that's the beauty of using something like Lent, using something like these 40 days to go, okay, I'm going to consciously work on that habit. I'm going to consciously work on making or breaking that habit, and then notice the difference that it makes. So thank you so much for joining me on here. Do let me know what you're celebrating, how you're celebrating. I'd love to celebrate with you. And thank you so much for joining me on these 40 days. Let me know what you decide to do as a result of this as well. So like Wendy said, it's not stopping here, she's continuing with that. It reminds me of a quote that I think comes from Aristotle, who says that excellence is not an act, but a habit. So success comes from the little things that we make as part of our habit, the things that we originally saw as a huge challenge and now has become normal. It's become part of a habit, and so it's something that happens every day. And I think there's real power in that. The kind of tiny baby steps we make on a regular basis, those are the things that make the biggest difference. So have fun celebrating your 40 days, and thank you so much for joining me, and I will see you soon.